Today's story comes to us from r/RPG Horror Stories. This is a story from about 15 years ago. I was GMing a game of Castles and Crusades. One player had a true neutral druid. The story involved the players investigating who was behind a sudden rash of goblin raids against a previously peaceful farming village, and if possible, put a stop to future raids. After a fight with a goblin raiding party, one goblin was still alive and had surrendered. The players questioned the goblin about who was coordinating the raids, but it soon became clear that he was just a lowly grunt with no real knowledge of the higher-ups. However, this is when the druid decided that he didn't believe the goblin. With the goblin tied up, he announced that he was getting his knife. "I'm going to make him talk," he said with a certain glee. He then threatened the goblin if he didn't reveal the commanding mastermind. I announced that the goblin was scared, but repeated in a cowering voice that he was ignorant of such things. Okay, he had his chance, the player said, and started to go into a graphic description of... I told him the goblin was screaming, but didn't reveal anything useful amidst his screams. The player, still convinced that he was hiding something, started to graphically At this point, it was clear that the other players were getting a little uncomfortable about the player's apparent sadistic glee in the graphic descriptions of torture. At that point, I stepped in and said, "Add evil to your alignment. By the way, an alignment change like that is going to result in you losing your druidic powers." That's when the player lost it. He said that since goblins were evil, according to the monster manual, it was okay to torture them for the greater good. Furthermore, he argued, true neutral simply meant that he could do anything, good or evil, to get the job done. Evil alignments, according to him, meant that evil acts were committed only for sheer pleasure. I stood firm and insisted that he had committed an evil act and the alignment change was justified. I then told him if we were to play any more games together, he would have to tone down the graphic torture scenes because it was creeping me out a little. That got him even angrier, and he accused me of implying that he didn't know the difference between fantasy and reality, i.e. everything in the game was just fantasy, so any content should be okay. That ended up being the last game I GM'd for the group. I ended up leaving the group not too long after for not altogether unrelated reasons.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
They didn't work on it at all?
They pulled the gas tank out. So, Chuck, is that just on my end? It looks all goofy.
It was set for 2 people, and then you just decided to just show up, So
Oh yeah,
give me
that
just
it
a
is.
second. I'll fix it. Not a
Oh,
big deal. Burp.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So she's very, very happy. So I'll tell the stream what happened today. Hold on, let me get that set.
George, you answer your questions when we're ready, buddy. No, I'm joking. I got you down. I got you down.
So just to let everyone know, something very weird happened today. My wife and I were at this function, and as we're leaving the function, we're driving out, and there's this chop shop across the street. Now we haven't been to this town in 15 years. I don't know. Well, Davis for years kept my wife's old car, a 280ZX that she bought in 1983, and it was Davis's place forever. We're trying to rebuild it, blah blah blah. Never got to it. 4 years ago, we sold it, and it was gone. Well, as we're leaving this event, she looks over at the chop shop and she goes, "Hey, that's my 280ZX in the parking lot." And it's sitting there it's a mess. The tires are flat, whatever. So we whipped the truck around, drove in there, talked to the guys, and we bought the car back. So we got to go pick it up. She's so excited. That car was one of the first cars that had voice stuff. Like if you don't put your seatbelt on, this female voice comes on and says, "You do not have your seatbelt on," or whatever the hell. It's crazy world.
That's okay. So now you got me. I want to buy my '93 Explorer back.
Oh man, you got so much mileage out of that. Yes, the wolf alone. I said, shut up for that car a lot. Kat and I went to college together, of course, so I was in that car all the time. Man, she loved that car. She's so happy. She's just giddy at the moment.
There's something weird going on here.
So what you need to do, Davis, to track that truck down, your Ford, get your VIN number, go to Carfax, and see if anyone has it for sale or reported it wrecked or whatever.
Yeah. How would I find my VIN number? Do you know?
I have bizarrely kept the paperwork on all my vehicles, so you'd have to track down your paperwork to get your VIN number.
Wait, hold on. You have all the paperwork to your vehicles over the years? That is very bizarre. That's cool.
Yes, bizarre. I know I throw everything away, but for some reason I've got this folder filled with crap from my papers. DK Kingsley, we've actually got, we purchased a truck for my youngest son 3 years ago. It was all up. It was completely banged up. So we found this guy that's got his small chop shop in Little Rock, and he does a fantastic job. So we're just going to put it on a car trailer and take it to him and have him fix it.
So I had a 4-wheel drive
Red Explorer.
Ford Explorer Sport, right? And I loved it. I got 350,000 miles out of that vehicle, and it was still running fine when I sold it. The only thing I kept from it was this. Okay. And now that you got your thing back, I want mine back. I'll have to look around. I don't know if I would have the VIN number.
Yeah, you'd have to. That's what I'm going to do for Old Blue. The new owner was shiftless. Yeah, they didn't. They sent us a picture of it up on whatever the block or something. They had it all torn apart, and we thought, man, they're going to rebuild this stuff, but they ain't done nothing with it. And we both felt bad. It's just sitting there in the sun baking. And Arkansas is not gentle on cars. It is. No. It is not gentle on cars.
Oh, so you're going to give it to that guy down there to fix?
Hey, Odd One Man says, I don't know how it is in the States, but your insurance company may still have that record of the VIN for your Explorer. He's right.
Oh, yeah. And I've had the same insurance company since 1982. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm going to make a note of that because I will look that up. And you just have to go to Carfax to see?
Yeah, I mean, they may have it. That would be hilarious if you could find that.
Yeah.
Spam Viking says my first car was a 69 AMC Javelin SST. That's pretty badass. My first one was a Chevette, a little Chevy Chevette, and it was a treat. It was a treat to drive. All right, we are here for Ask Me Anything. We didn't think I was going to show because I had that event I had to go to, and Chuck and Davis were going to take over, but I got here like 1 minute ago.
So we're leaving. See you, Steve.
No, don't abandon me.
So
We
we've been on an AMA. So
yes, we need to get Todd in on these.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So this is the Ask Me Anything. This is David Chenault, Chuck Cumbow, of course, and we're here. So any questions you have for us about the big announcement we made yesterday, or the 280ZX that we stumbled upon today, throw them here in the feed. And
Also, for any of you that did not make it to the impromptu stream tomorrow, Grace is going to be running that stream this week during the day for folks that missed out and some in the evening. So you can look for that special announcement stream this week to pop up some extra.
What do you mean impromptu? We gave everyone 30 minutes warning.
Fair. No, you're right. You did. Even us. So that's good. That's true.
Oh, Lord. It is a 1983 280ZX with T-tops. Is that what they're called?
Wow. That's a nice car.
Yeah. Let me tell you,
it's a beautiful car.
It is, and
it was in great condition. Minus like the.
You should have asked her if she's going to ask her if she's going to take you out for dinner in it, man. You know, fancy.
That's right. She ran over my foot in it back in 1986.
Because all the upholstery in it was perfect. I mean, it was in really pristine condition when you got rid of it.
It's not now. They pulled all the upholstery out and that's where they stopped. So it's just been baking in the sun for what? When did we sell it? 3 years ago or something?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. But there you go. But we will get it back now. I will have it hauled up this week or next week, and we will see what the damage is. She just it is indescribable to explain how much she loved that car. I really didn't want to sell it when we sold it, but she gets pretty adamant about things. Move on, let the past be. But neither of us could look into that chop shop yard and just see it sitting there rotten, and that's just not.
Death Angel Shadow from YouTube says 1974 Ford Pinto had to pop the rocker arms back on every 200 miles. And you had to make sure no one hit you in the ass either. Boom!
Yeah. My buddy had a Pinto. It was so banged up. It was Gary Griffin when we would go to work together. This was back in the 80s. We would get the floorboard of the passenger seat did not exist. You could see the street. And part of the drive shaft, I guess, that's spinning or something. It was crazy. You'd just be sitting there looking at it.
That's nuts.
That's a good air conditioning.
Yeah, it was that. What was that car you had, Davis? The Oldsmobile. That was a great car.
1976 Cutlass Oldsmobile Supreme with swivel seats. That had a huge freaking engine in it too.
Oh yeah, that thing flew and
my God.
You didn't feel the road at all in that sucker.
No. And especially when you there was this range at 52 miles to 58 miles per hour where it would jiggle just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But then you punched it to 60 and it would go 110, 120, and that thing was just like gliding on ice. It got me a lot of tickets.
Dude, you can tell that everybody in the chat, or at least people about the same age. Willie's first car was a 73 Maverick. George's was a 79 Mercury Capri.
Mine was a 74 Mustang. Mine was a Mustang.
You had a Mustang was your first car?
Yeah, but it was a 74 Mustang. It wasn't a badass fastback like I wanted. It was this, but still, it was my first car. It was.
Dude, that would be cool if all of us could get our old cars back and then
Well, I'm not so sure about the Chevette. But
Chevette. I tell you what, I had a car one time. It was what was those things called from Yugoslavia? The Yugo. I shit you not, you could take it apart in pieces. I mean, without tools.
Really?
Just pop it out. It's all plastic. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so we got some questions rolling in here. I'm going to get you boys warmed up here. First question is from George Fields over on Twitch. Any chance of working with Luke for CNC conversions of his awkward material? I can actually answer that.
Take it away.
We have, I think there's 3 conversions for the 3 Shintufi modules being worked on right now, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, those are coming. His other stuff, I'm not sure, George, but I would assume that that's probably a good possibility. Maybe. Then again, you know what assuming does, right, George? You know. Let's see. Starlaw from YouTube says, does Trollords have a sci-fi version of CNC RPG, something that uses credits for buying things and not a wealth system?
You know, I don't know what Star Siege uses.
I don't know either. but it could use
So-
credits. I like to use credits. That's my personal.
I think credits sound cool, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
right.
It makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
So we can't quite answer that question. If Jason were here, you can answer it. We've got Amazing Adventures coming out in the next couple of months. As soon as AA is out, then Star Siege will follow right after. It's like 95% done. We're just kind of waiting for AA to come out to get, and it may have a credit system in there.
I just
Do
had
I,
a
David?
genius idea. I
Uh-oh.
absolutely floored. Where's Elon Musk? Okay, so no,
Oh,
we don't use a credit. We use BTC to buy stuff. Satoshis and BTC. Bitcoin.
what is BTC?
Yeah. What is that?
Oh,
Oh,
Bitcoin.
shit.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. But isn't that what credits are basically? You get
Yeah.
Well, technically, credit is just an imaginable number that you're allowed to have to hopefully use somewhere. You know.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Bitcoin is?
Pretty much imaginary. You're right. You're right. It is. Yeah, that's for sure. I hadn't thought about that. That's
All right.
very
Do we
much
have
so.
more questions already popped up?
Well, Odd Man One asked. He has a question. Tell me about new stuff. That's his
Do
question.
y'all want to take that, or you want me to dive in?
Oh,
Right,
you dive
new
in.
stuff.
You're the CEO.
Yeah.
We know you got the answers.
Let me cough a little bit. That's the problem with this. Whatever I've got, when I talk very much, I cough. When I laugh, I cough. It's very obnoxious. So essentially, what we got coming down the pipe this first quarter, we're going to do. We've got the Hermit. We got the Codex and Arms should actually be released next week. That'll be the first thing that we got coming out that's new. The small adventure module that Jeremy Farkas wrote with it, which is it's something death. I can't remember.
Visiting Death, I think. Right.
Visiting Death, yes. So those will be out next week. We will follow all of that up with the Hermit, probably late February, March, some time frame in there. There's some extra stuff with the Hermit that we've got to make sure we get a hold of. The slipcase being the most. The problem is we got to have the Hermit in hand before we can make the slipcase. So even if we get the Hermit out in March, the slipcase is going to take another couple of weeks. So it's going to all be incumbent upon when we get what from the cartographer at this point. That will be followed up by the Gygaxian Fantasy World Series Kickstarter, which we will launch in late February, early March. We haven't pinpointed that date yet, but we're very close to. Now that'll run for 30 days, and it'll be the 7 books of the Gygaxian Fantasy World Series with the possibility of the extra 3 that we have unearthed and all of the stuff that we've been working on with yesterday's announcement. So we'll do that, and work has already begun on all of that. We've got some issues to decide on covers, stuff like that. And then we'll follow that up with the big second quarter Castles and Crusades, which will have the Player's Handbook 10th printing, the CKG next printing, the M&T next printing. A lot of the work, I'd say, 50% of the work has been done on those titles.
Oh yeah.
The CKG is mostly done. The M&T is the slightly lagging behind. It's not lagging behind, but it just needs more fixing. We're going to follow that up with the first of the Castle Zagging stuff, which will be third quarter next year. And we've really got to kind of iron this out. We got a couple of product meetings to have with Davis and Luke and Chuck, and all got to sit down and kind of iron out exactly the order of things. We're relatively certain that each of those levels will be its own book, or several levels in its own book, with a pocket in the back with the maps in the pocket. This will be followed up with the Codex of the Plains in fourth quarter this year, which should be done at that point. And then we've got some wild cards kind of floating around. There's the introductory set that we may jam into there. We're having a conversation that we started yesterday, and we will finish in the next week or so about Haunted Highlands swinging into this mix. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an extremely busy year with lots of big projects. How much of those projects get out? It's always, incumbent on a host of issues, but we are relatively certain that 3 cores will come out. The Hermit will come out. Sinarm will definitely come out since starting out. And the first chunks of the zagging stuff, hopefully by the end of the year. That's it in a nutshell.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's going to be a very busy year. It is. I didn't even mention Arms and Armor will be coming out. Davis is done with that. So that'll be rolling out. And then there's another, in Codex Infernum, I'm about a third of the way through the rewrite on the Codex Infernum, and that's not going to take very long. Codex Exalt won't be out this summer too. So and Amazing Adventures will be landing in hopefully about 2 months. So very, 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 very busy year with lots and lots of big books coming out.
Yeah. And that the Gygax material is a handful. It's just like the GFW. Now we're looking at 10 books. It's, there's just a lot for us to chew through for sure. But it's business as usual, right?
Yes, yes. And we are
And Mel,
hoping. Do
I
what,
just
Nick?
got a text from Mel. Mel's back on the character sheets. So
Good deal, good deal.
And that's
Because
good.
we're wanting the character sheets to come out as well. In the midst of all of that, we're working hard on trying to get the character manager done. We had all the code finished, but something popped and gave us a 500 error or whatever that was.
Yeah, it's messed up now. He's trying to get
The
it
code
fixed.
worked, but it was just the sign up code, as my understanding was. There was something wrong with that.
Okay, a couple
got-
more
there's just-
questions have popped in.
Right.
So the first one's going to be, and I don't even know if I want to say this, and this is from Savage Baron. He said, I officially asked if Chuck normally wears the lawn and garden onesies. No, I do not. But in all seriousness, is Aird actually part of CNC? We get that a lot.
Is Aird officially part of CNC? So, no, it is not. Aird is its own setting, and you can play any game system. You can play D&D or Shadow Dark or AT&T or Rollmaster or whatever, and play a game of Aird. Aird's just a setting. It has become the de facto setting for Castles and Crusades. That's what, and ironically, Davis, who has Inzea, pushes Aird more than anybody for Castles and Crusades. So it's become the default setting that we tell people to go to. Hopefully later or early next year, we'll start seeing Davis's Inzea land. And of course, Haunted Highlands is its own setting that's been put in Aird, but it's its own kind of animal. You can do your own. There's enough, wiggle room in Haunted Highlands to do your own thing. So it is de facto, but not officially.
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
It's just kind of one of those things. I'd say, if you was to go forward 7 or 8 years and we had, Haunted Highlands redrafted and out, Inzea's out, Aird's out. I mean, there's the potential for 3 or 4 settings. So at that point, because we will probably, I'm sure, at least with I won't say Amazing Adventures, but with Star Siege, we may end up doing a setting on Venus eventually or something. Who knows?
Well, the interesting thing is that, and we've talked about this before, but Davis's world, the Inzea setting, is actually the inner world of Air.
That's right.
So the settings are very different. Davis's is much more dark. Mine is more high fantasy, I guess.
because it's inside Aird and there's no sun.
Yeah. That's such a dark. I can see anything. So they're still they go hand in hand. And what Chuck is alluding to, what we would love to see, since Aird is Venus billions of years ago, as we begin to develop a lot of this material, we would love to be able to take Amazing Adventures and take your characters in adventure on Aird, which means de facto you could end up going to Inzea through the Rings of Brass too. So the whole thing will be tied together.
And it will be tied nicely through the Plains book.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the first.
That's the key
Yes.
right there. Yeah, right.
And I'm just going to suggest one of my favorite products that we've ever produced, Bergman Outlandish, which I don't know if it's on the website yet.
It is not. We need to get it up there.
I know what I'll
Okay,
be
so
doing. I know what I'm doing next week.
Yeah. So Bergman Outlandish is it's a little town anyway. And just read the intro to it. I think the intro's up online. So
It was on the old store, but it's not on there. We don't have it on the new store.
okay, anyway, so that's your perfect setting for going to any place, anywhere that you want to go at any time. It's a good setting.
Yeah, it literally what he's talking about is Bergman is a small town that's kind of like the city in the center. So you can go there and use magic portals to go almost anywhere.
Yeah, and the city itself travels wherever it wants to go.
Yeah.
It just moves through time and space and can exist in 2 places at one time or multiple places at one time.
Milwaukee says Bergman is fantastic.
I loved writing that, and I want to write more on it because it's not like a huge city. I mean, it's just a small town on top of a butte. So, but it has an underside too. It has there's down in that citadel area or down in the column that it sits on. There's
We did a good map of that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I looked at it.
Yeah, we have a map of it.
Any more questions there, Chuck?
Yeah. The next one I've got here in the queue is let's see. Okay. So Lee Likes Liberty over on YouTube asked, "What color was my Mustang?" It was baby blue. My first car was also a '74 Mustang, dark red, vinyl top. Yeah, mine was baby blue with a white vinyl top. Right on, man. That's cool. That's real cool. I love that car, and I had it for 3 days. 3 days. And at the time, my mother had made a deal with me that she would help me. She would give me a little money toward the car if I would quit dipping skull at school. What she didn't know was I was smoking, right? So I didn't tell her about that. Yeah, sure. I'll quit dipping. And I got that car like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And that Friday, I left and went out to go out to the mall to hang out with my buddies. We were going to go out and check out the new books for D&D and hang out at the damn arcade. The shit we did back then, right? And I got in the car and I was going down the on-ramp and I was trying to light a cigarette. And you know those reflectors that come up out of the ground that are like 15 foot in the ground, you don't realize it? I hit one of those and it put a big wave all the way down the side of the car. And I got to the mall and I got out. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, my mom's going to whip my ass. So, and my mom's passed now. I don't think she probably figured it out, but I told her that when I come out from the mall, someone had hit my car like that. But in retrospect, they would have had to have kind of done, I don't know what they would have done to have pulled it off. So she probably knew I was lying.
She knew.
Right? Yeah, she knew.
She knew.
So, but anyway, yeah, it took me many years after that to quit smoking. So kids, don't smoke. Anyway.
That's the lesson there.
Yeah, that was the lesson. Let's see. John. Oh, hey, John. I'm thinking of starting an open game using the CZ stuff, an opportunity to use an organized play system. Absolutely. John, I don't know if you saw the announcement. I think you're in our Endless World Discord, but yeah, as the year progresses, part of that's going to start. We were getting ready to open up the webpage here, and hopefully, I hope to do it next week. I wanted to have it open by the 1st of February, which is, I think, Saturday, so that's not going to happen. But anyway, we're real close. We're just trying to get some other things worked out in the back end. And then you'll be able to register all your games in there, and you'll get store credit, and it'll all be wonderful and beautiful. So that's coming up. Let's see. Next question is from gaming, or from, let's see here. Yeah, Mr. Panini. Hello, I'm looking at making a new character. Do you think it's worth a multi-class to Warlock for Eldritch Blast? Well, Mr. Panini, our game doesn't really have Warlocks or Eldritch Blast in it. That's things you can put into the game. It's real modular. It's very rules light. But
Thank you, Coach.
If I was going to let you in my game run a Warlock with Eldritch Blast, I would say, yeah, I would definitely. I think it's a good fit. I like it. I think it's a better fit than using it for, like, say, a sorcerer. I don't know. I just think that it's pretty cool to use it with a Warlock. That's my opinion of it. I know these two don't play 5e, so they probably don't have an opinion, but that's my best opinion I can give you on that, is I would. Let's see. Next question up is from MJ Cook. Is there an Underdark equivalent in Aired?
So Underdark is that gigantic dungeon, right? That
No.
goes the
No, that's Under Mountain.
Undermountain. What is
Yeah,
Underdark?
Underdark it's underground. It's the underground.
Man, it'd probably have to be Alfdrag, wouldn't it?
Well, no, you're talking about the place for dark elves, typically.
No,
And
it's for the
dwarves.
drow, basically.
Yeah,
So-
drow and dwarves. Think AD&D.
So-
No,
I have one in my
no.
game, sure, but that's me.
So the closest you're going to get to that in Aired as it's conceptualized is the Twilight Wood, and that's where the
I
can't
forgot
remember
about
the
that.
name.
I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
right. The Underdark is actually more like woods in Aired. It's above ground.
Yeah, so that's what, and I can't remember what that group of elves is called. Where's my stupid currency?
Blood elves? No, that's not right. That's not right. Wrong one.
They're sad and in pain.
Yeah, the emo elves. The dark elves. That's where they dwell at the Twilight Wood. But the Twilight Wood is so thick that pathways are like underground tunnels and stuff like that. So that's how that would kind of equate.
I want to make some elves that are like accountants.
I'm like an accountant this morning.
Yes, and Death's Angel Shadow's correct from YouTube. He said Undermountain does connect to the Underdark. It did connect to the Underdark. You're absolutely right. In fact, one of those levels was ran by a bunch of drow. So yeah. And again,
Now, there-
I do, Stan. I do.
guys, a lot of the stuff we develop, just like that questionnaire and the question with the Warlock, our game's designed to be modular. You can pump it in. You want to do Underdark in the clouds, do it in the clouds. You want to do it underground, do underground. So it's your game, it's your table. You know, I like underground because I grew up with that. But now that I've remembered about Steve setting it up where it was kind of like in the Twilight Woods, it's dark in there. That's cool too. So I'll have to revisit my thoughts on it now a little bit. I thought that was
There
neat.
is an Inzaya, an equivalent, and it's called the Endless Palace. So, like way back in Inzaya's history, the before the world is as it is currently in the setting, before Inzaya fell down from the earth, and the dragon had everyone build her a palace that covered the entire planet, right? Covered the entire world. The palace did. So when she falls down onto the Inzea and builds and creates that big lake or whatever, all the dirt that comes flying out of it buries the palace. Okay.
Oh,
And then so that the palace is still underground now. Now it's broken up and it's hard to get around to it and stuff, but it still covers the entire thing. It's called the Endless Palace. But I haven't developed it. Only one time. I think Kent and Chris and Mac went into it one time not knowing that they were in it. They
that
were
sounds about right.
Yeah, they were just you were just on the cusp of discovering something and you guys were like, I changed my mind.
That sounds about right.
I'm like, damn.
All right, next question is from ZimD over. I think he's ZimD is in YouTube. I think he might be. No, he's here in Twitch. How important is a webcam for online role playing? ZimD, it's according to the game that you're playing in or running. A lot of people use Discord with cams. A lot of people use other programs like Zoom for cams, and a lot of times they don't. I run a game on Discord every week, and we don't have any cameras, so it's really just boils down to if that's something that's required for the session, right? But you don't need it. You don't need it. You really don't need anything if you don't want to, other than just a mic. To be honest, as long as you have some way to communicate. I mean, in our Discord, we even have a play-by-post game that's going on all the time, every day, every week, been going for months, and all they do is type. So
I would say that if you're doing kind of now the play-by-post is a little different, but if you're doing a kind of theater of the mind game, I think it's kind of important. For me, it's actually very important for me if I'm playing online with people to have a camera so I can see.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah, see, when you're giving a description that you can kind of pick up on nuances for this is cool or this isn't, you can shift your tone or whatever.
Right.
Play by carrier pigeon. There you go, Sparky.
I've got some more questions here. Let's see. Chris Donovan, he has got a slew. I'll hit one of them right now. How many of Kent's games, Steve's games, Giant CNC games will be run at Gary Con? I have him scheduled for 15, Chris. So he's going to. He's got one big. Yeah, he's got one big game at Gary Con, and then at Founders and Legends, we're running a couple games each, smaller games, and then I'm running a game at Gary Con, and so is Davis. In fact, I've got to have a meeting with Gary Con after we get done here because they messed up our scheduling, so now I got to go in there and fix it. Anyway, but it's all good. It's all good. We're going to be there. Let's see. George Fields, question. My memory's fuzzy. Will Amazing Adventures Psychics be part of the new Scene Store core books?
Ooh,
I'll let Steve answer that one.
I cannot honestly remember where Jason and I ended on that. So the psychic rules appear in Amazing Adventures, as noted. And we were going to move them to the Adventurer's Backpack. That was the last I remember. I don't think they're going to go in the Player's Handbook.
Or at the very least, the CKG, right? Or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I think the Adventurer's Backpack is where we were going to land them. Because it is fast heading towards a second printing, and it'll really be a second edition of the Adventurer's Backpack, because it will be nothing like, or very little like what it is now.
Right.
There'll be a whole bunch of some of that content's been moved to other books. It'll have a bunch of new content. So I think that's where the psychic stuff is going. It's not psychic. What is it? It's psionic.
Psionic.
Yeah. Psychic. We're gonna make some psychic rules.
Some psychic.
Why not?
rules.
We're gonna make them psychic.
What the hell? Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Another question for request from Chris Donovan. Can we get locations added to the online maps? Can't remember the name of the website for Gaxmore, Yiggsburg, and Castle Zygig.
Yes, World Anvil is what he's probably talking about.
Right. Yeah, we need to get back. We got to get someone to work on that, son. Actually.
Yeah, and we need to get. We've been meaning to do forever is to take all of the adventures that we publish and all of the old TSR adventures and place them in the lands of Ursula and the world of Air behind me, so people
That's right.
can, if they're playing it, they know where they are.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Let's see. Zimby has another question. How do I make the world feel more lively as a DM, specifically in a non-metropolitan area? Now, you got two experts right here for that, gentlemen.
Yeah, I would say, we did a whole series of GM's Tricks of the Trade. We'll have a book on those collected coming out soon. I would say, man, to make it feel more real, was that the question? Authentic?
He said exactly more lively as a
More lively.
Yeah.
I always go with weather first. Bring in weather. Don't forget that there's weather. As soon as you start talking about weather, whether it's snow or rain or heat or dry or humidity, people can kind of latch onto that, and they're immediately able to say, "Oh, I've experienced this. I've experienced that." I specifically remember a game Davis ran not too long ago where we were moving up a mountain trail, and he described snow and the cold and ice slipping on rocks and stuff. And because I've done that in hiking, I could kind of immediately, you know, and believe it and can see it much easier. So I think weather and going deep without going too long. You don't want to be long winded, but going deep on descriptions, describing roads and trees and hills and cloud formations and stuff like that. I think that really helps people kind of center in on the game you're trying to run.
Yeah, I think the weather's a good one for an anchor because everyone experiences weather. But another thing that I do, and this depends on the players though, because I remember back in the day you couldn't do this past time because no one would rest for 3 days. They're like, no, I don't rest for the day. I get up at 6 o'clock the next morning and I go out and I start looking for an adventure. So you're like, what?
I've been stabbed 14 times today, but I'm doing it again tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. But is the passage of time and I'm not talking about like years or anything, like say a week passes. Because a lot of times when you travel, nothing happens. Literally nothing will happen. I mean, you look at the Lewis and Clark expedition, nothing happened 99% of the time. But the 1% was really exciting.
Right.
So you pass time a little bit, and when something happens, then you start anchoring them in with like the weather, the descriptions, and stuff like that. And don't make them too unusual. I think they have to have a grounding point that most people would have to have a grounding point with which they're familiar to move beyond. That's how the fiction, I think, best works.
I liked Statler's answer for you, actually. He said he said more lively, Davis would add political intrigue.
Oh yeah. the trees. It's a guild of trees against another guild of trees.
It'll be like the Rush song. They'll all be fighting. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah. I'd name all the trees and they'll be like, you're taking my oxygen. Well, you're taking my water.
The oaks must fall. Anyway, sorry. Okay, Chris Donovan asks, this is about Neil. He says, Neil told me the CNC coffee is really good. It is. Because I prefer dark roast Colombian. Will it ever be available in K-Cups? I'll refer that to the CEO.
We've actually talked about that.
We have talked about it.
That has completely fallen off the roster.
I would drink a lot more coffee, probably. No, I don't know.
Yeah, we're about due for a reorder on that, a restock on that. I will ask my rep when I talk to him.
Yeah, everyone I've given it to really, really likes it.
I love it. I've not drank but 2 cups of coffee in the last 4 months. I'm about to lose my mind right now.
And speaking of products that TLG has made that I'm actually really proud of the coffee. And Kathy picked the blend down, and I'd like for her to do another blend.
She did a fantastic job. Fantastic.
Yeah, because the coffee is really, really good. And I'm a big coffee drinker, so I like it. Now, I'm going to point out another product that TLG made. We don't make it anymore. But Kent gave me the last of the 2 of them because I lost my other one.
What is this?
Oh, yes.
These backpacks are so freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. I don't have one of those.
Put the logo up next to the camera.
Well, I wanted, when we do the ABP again, if we end up doing a crowdfunding or a pre-order, I wanted to have that as an option to buy some of those. I think it'd be badass.
See, this pack is good enough. I took it out the other day. The only thing I would use it backpacking, like for 2 or 3 days, a 2 or 3 day trip, and it's that sturdy a thing. The only thing for backpacking that I would say that I would do differently is triple stitch these things. They're double stitched now, but I would triple stitch them. But other than that, this would be excellent for like a 2 or 3, even a 4-day trip.
So I've been using mine. That is my standard luggage, my Castle Success backpack, since 2018, since we came out with it. And it's got 1 tear in it. I've been all over the place in that thing.
Yeah.
It is sturdy. It holds a lot of crap, and I pack it full. Yeah, that's really something we should bring back, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I really like it. And though I'm hesitant to actually start using it because I think you only have one left,
No, I gave it to Zane.
and we have none left. And
We have none
Zane-
left. He just admitted he edited it quickly. Oh,
Yeah.
So,
God.
just for those of you who don't know, Zane is Davis is my older brother, and Zane is our oldest brother, and he asked for it, so he got it. So
I don't blame him.
there's reusable K cups. Can we sell K cups with the CNC logo on it? I guess.
I mean, I don't know if it'd be
And
worth
fill
it.
them ourselves? I don't know. I don't drink coffee.
I don't like where this is going already. I'm like, hold on.
yeah.
That's a bad idea right there.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can put the
thank you,
same
Van.
logo on it you have on.
There was another
All
coffee
right, next
question.
question.
There's another coffee question, so I'm going to wrap it in with that. This is from Sweep Ray Z. Will the coffee be available ever in whole bean form? Because a lot of people like to do their own grinding, I should say.
It's a
You know,
blend.
if I thought that enough people wanted that, we could do that easily. I've talked to my rep. I mean, they can do half whole bean, half ground. They don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. How does that work? I'm not a coffee guy.
It's a blend. It's a blend of beans. Is the thing.
So they couldn't.
Ours
do
is a
this.
blend right now. Currently, we would have to have one that was just a sole flavor, I guess you would call it, right?
So we couldn't like give a coffee grower our ground up stuff and they use it to grow a new bean.
No, it doesn't work like this.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn
Yeah, all you have to do is take a cup of coffee, pour it in the ground, and a coffee tree grows.
it. We're starting a coffee farm. I should probably drink coffee at some point. I don't drink.
Oh my God! All right, let's see.
I
From
think
Death
you're
Angel
good.
Shadows and YouTube, are there any sorcerers in any of the add-on books? I love the idea of a natural caster, perhaps from draconic blood or being born near powerful magic, etc. If not, what would be the best way? Well, I've got two answers for you on that. One, there is a sorcerer lurking around. It was in, I think, Black Labyrinth, right, Steve? Isn't that right?
I missed part of the question. You went away from your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Sorcerer.
I'm suspicious of that answer. Sorcerers in any of our add-on books. And I was just going to say, the Death Angels, we did have a sorcerer in, I don't think it was in Haunted Highlands. We had a witch in Haunted Highlands, but I think in the Black Labyrinth we had a sorcerer. If I'm not.
Oh, there may have been. Man, I have not looked at that book.
Yeah,
in
we're
a
looking at
thousand years.
redoing a lot of that old stuff and upgrading it,
That's a
bringing it
good
back
book.
out. So it's very possible. But if we don't have something like that right now, what you could very well do is take another system like 5e or something and just adopt it in. That's what my son did for his game. He put warlocks and sorcerers in his CNC game. It's not hard to do. You just kind of say this is how it goes, and then make it work.
Yep.
Pick out an experience point table, or just run the wizard one if you want to do something, that or illusionist. I'm not sure if the illusionist is any harder. I would pick the harder between the two, and go that way with it. That would work. That's my suggestion. Anyways, you got any comments, you guys, on that?
No, that's good. That's good.
Statler says, I'm looking forward to hearing how the tournament plays out. Yeah, I am too. I gotta have a meeting tomorrow about all that. We're trying to get that all ramped up. That's gonna be pretty exciting. The winners of the tournament get to pose in bathing suits with Davis, so it's gonna be a pretty good thing. We're excited about it.
We're wearing
Yeah, I like-
Speedos. No,
I like
banana
Sam
hammocks.
Barrett's comment. By went away from your mic, Stephen means I stopped listening. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's exactly how they do me. That's exactly right. It's y'all are witnesses to that. Let's see. According to the interwebs, this is from Tillowit from YouTube. Gary Gygax owned a 1969 Pontiac GTO he bought from the royalties from Chainmail, but sold it to fund TSR.
Oh, that's cool. There you go.
I do know that Ernie had a Trans Am that he earned through working through TSR. I do know that.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's
they
funny.
wrote,
That Ford Explorer I was talking about, we hawked it at the bank to fund
Yep.
TLG.
Did
That
you
was the
really?
collateral yep, that was the collateral for our first loan.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, let's see. Next question up from Sweep Ray Z. Oh, no, I already got that one already. So, Chris Donovan. Chris, I saw your comment somewhere on the interwebs, and then you brought it here. It's good. Chris is asking, are all the Christmas cards gone yet?
Oh yes. No, they haven't. They've been printed. They've been printed, but not cut yet. So hopefully next
They
week.
haven't even shipped.
No, no.
The problem is these people want us to make books all the time. I don't know what they want from us.
Well, the real problem snuck up on us when I had to go to the wedding and I was out for about 10 days. And
Yeah.
it put a crimp on certain things. But Chuck got me the list, the Christmas card list, like I don't know, end of December, and it's here. The cards are cut, the envelopes are here, but they were not cut. They're printed but not cut. So the Gygax announcement obviously put that stuff back on. So I'm hoping that by June, but to quote Gone with the Wind lady, as God is my witness, the Christmas cards will go out this year. Even if they go out with this this year's Christmas card.
Go out with you get 2 for 1. Buy one, get one for extra. They ain't buying anything. So you got 2 for 1. What's up, Fraley? How you doing, buddy? I'm just now catching up.
True Shaft says we're on troll time, so it's really just a week after Thanksgiving. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Next questions. I've got a bunch of questions here. Let's see. So let me get back to my list. Kyle Brightwing has asked a question that is dear to my heart. Actually, Kyle, I'm gonna go get me a custom one made if it doesn't happen soon. Are there any chance of having some CNC baseball caps? Very important. Very important.
I see a lot of people talking about lifestyle brands for CNC. We're certainly not going down that road. But the hard thing is for us, and we break this occasionally, and I cannot say for the shirts, but we try to only buy stuff made in the United States of America. So it gets dicier and dicier when it comes to clothing. Do what, Davis?
I think that we should do a lifestyle brand, but a lifestyle brand that I'm imagining in my head. Okay. And it's gonna be so badass.
You used to have a whole bunch of t-shirt ideas. I've still got those listed somewhere.
Oh yeah, no. Did I tell you I made like $3.22 off my t-shirt shop?
Sweet.
That I haven't even looked at in like
5 years or
5 years. And I got a notification about something. You made $3.22. I'm like, what? I thought I closed that thing down.
Anyway, let's see. Next question up I have is from ZimD. Question: quality, reputable microphone recommendations under $75. That is a tough question, ZimD. They're all over the place. If you're going to, he's looking for basically $75 or under mic to use for online. To be honest with you, unless you're going to be doing streaming, all right. If you're just going to be connecting to a Discord or a Zoom or something like that, anything will really work. Honestly, you don't spend a lot of money because unless you're going to be streaming, there's no point in it. You're only going to get a certain level of quality. Now, when you start getting into higher level quality of mics, like say XLR mics, that kind of stuff for streaming, they'll run you. You might find some in the $80 range, but usually around 100 or above. Those are very much higher quality, but they're also built for streaming, over across the internet, which is a little different from just running a mic in a session, let's say Discord or Zoom. Those don't require a whole lot. But if you're going to try to run streaming software and run a real production, that kind of thing, then you have to go probably above $100, in my opinion. I've not checked into the mic prices in probably 4 or 5 years, but that's how it used to be. Anyway, next question. Old school RPGer. I saw the tweet from someone claiming to own part of the pending Gygax release. Can you speak to this about this point, or is it too early? There's been several people actually. Yeah, it happens.
That have said about owning Gygax stuff.
Owning parts of they were involved in the old stuff. We have people pop up a lot of times when we do these things, like Yugsburg,
Yeah. So what they're alluding to specifically, there were 24 neighborhoods, areas inside and around Yugsburg that Gary had hired writers to do. These guys had come in and written them. I think all of them were done, I want to say. And it was probably 8-10 people who did it. I had very, very little to do with that. Troller had very little to do with that. We had nothing to do with it, to be honest with you. Back in those days, Gary had his own company and was hiring writers to flesh out his city, and we were going to publish it as Gary's publisher. So I don't know what kind of contracts that all of them signed. I've seen some of the contracts. A lot of that stuff is just gone, or we don't know where it is, or it's on someone's computer or hard drive, or God knows where. So what's essentially what we're going to do is we're going to approach each of those writers, and assuming, and I don't anticipate any problems, assuming that there's no problems, then we'll just publish what they wrote, get them paid, and put that out. But what my understanding is from the tweet, and which I think you're referencing that David sent over the other day, was someone said that they wrote 4 of these books, and because it wasn't published, I suppose that it reverted back to them. I guess what he's alluding to is their writing did, but their ownership of that neighborhood in Yigsburg certainly did not revert back to them. That's still owned by the estates of Gary Gygax. And if these individuals don't want to go forward with what they wrote or whatever, then we'll find a new writer that's going to. I think we're going to bring someone on to manage that property, help us manage that property, whose one task will be to manage that property, because Davis and Chuck and there's 100 other things that we're working on, and we don't want the Gygax stuff to fall to the wayside by any stretch of the imagination, but nor do we want to stop all the work that we've been working on and are working toward. So I'm confident that what those individuals were alluding to, that it can easily be worked out. If it can't be worked out, we'll hire new writers and rewrite that section.
That's right.
Yeah, and if any of you guys know anyone or you hear of anyone who was involved in that, just let us know. You can contact Kent, Chuck. You can't contact me, okay? But you can contact Kent and Chuck, or get a hold of Grace, and just put everyone in contact with each other, so we know. Because I know there's like, who's the writer, Zane McCrafferty? We can't find.
Yeah, that we don't know yet. Zane McCarthy. Yeah,
McCarthy.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
I have the entire manuscript that he wrote.
Yeah,
but I never talked to him.
Yeah, and then there's
interesting.
We don't know because Tri-G ran the development of the Yigsburg neighborhoods.
That's right.
We did not have access to the contracts or the writers or its development in any respect. All we've received is the properties. And I'm produce this stuff, so we don't know the writers. So,
and I'm 95% certain that the estates have not been given the contracts as well. So it's all wherever.
It's all just wherever. If someone's got copies, then good. If they don't,
I'm looking up. I'm going to get that name. I'm looking up Essential Places right now. I will have that guy's name for us in just a second. Having said that, now I can't find it.
What?
What's the next question? Zane McCarthy. I found it the other day. But
yeah, Zane McCarthy was in there. And Peter said he might be able to contact him, I
think. He tried. He couldn't. He didn't have his contact. Zane was apparently involved in something else as well, but I'm not sure exactly what that was.
Right.
All right, what's the next question?
Next question from Vim. 12. How is the Planar Codex coming along? The Codex of the Plains.
So that was put on hold, obviously, for all these other things. I dove back into it about 2 weeks ago. Then the Gygax stuff has put it back on hold again, but I'll be back on it tomorrow. What I'm going to do is reread what I've written to kind of get back into that mode. But that book's, my target date is to have that done by the summer. It's kind of critical for so many things that we're doing, from the Amazing Adventure stuff to other future stuff, sci-fi stuff, whatever. This book's kind of got to come out first so that everybody knows, how the planes are set up, the rings of brass work, and you have some kind of structure to do. Like if you're in a plane that has no time, you know how to track time so your wizard can get his spells back. And how do you heal with no time? Whatever. We got to have structure for everybody. And then there's got to be, if you go to the Abyss or you go to Tartarus or you go to here, there's got to be some kind of structure for everybody. And since Davis is developing in Zaya, and we've got things like the Haunted Highlands and Future Venus, we really, the Plains book's got to get done.
Yeah, it's sort of a central book to like connect everything.
Kind of that, yeah.
It also allows, so the Planar book, so a key element to the whole development of the setting things is this idea of the rings of brass. And the rings of brass go everywhere in existence, right? So you can connect your own world to Erd or any other world via the rings of brass, and they're literally like tunnels that go through time and space or whatever, go everywhere. They just
All right,
connect
let's
everything.
see.
All right, I put his name in the chat. Zane McCarthy, McCarthy.
All right. Let's see. We got a bunch more rolling in here. We got about 5 more minutes for everybody, so I'll try and get as many as we can answered today.
Okay.
If not, you can come back by in the morning and ask me, and if I don't know, we'll have to wait till Thursday. So how's that? Let's see. All right. Lee Likes Liberty. Oh, we got a couple T-shirt comments from Lee Likes Liberty and Venom. I'd love to see some tall sizes for shirts. We are aware of that. We're just trying to figure out how to work it in there because I know there's a lot of.
I don't think they offer them right now, but I'll ask Todd.
Yeah. And then Venom says, I want a shirt, and I do too, Venom, that says Vote Unclar 2024. I want one so bad. And I have that symbol on there, it would be awesome. We should do that.
We should start that right now. That's
oh
a
my
great
God,
idea.
that would be amazing. Let's see. Question, updates on TrollCon. George, yes. I am working on it. I worked on some today. I emailed a lady for a smaller hotel. I'm looking at a hotel there in Little Rock called the El Rancho. It's just outside the airport. That's a joke. It's 2-star. I was getting the reaction from them too. Those guys had no clue. But I'm talking to a young lady at the conference center there next to the airport. It's a Holiday Inn. So I think that's just trying to get you. Let's see. Chris Donovan, is there an updated version of the Player's Guide to Erd in the Overflowing Hopper?
We're not sure what we're going to do with that title. It's got the It's kind of tied to the player's archive because the race-based classes were put in the player's archive, which was the meat of the Player's Guide to Erd, other than the histories of. But if you strip everything that's already been stripped out of it, plus those, you're down to like 8 or 10 pages. But I think it's a handy thing to have for players. So we talk about it once in a while, but at the moment it's kind of lingering in the ether of trollness.
Let's see. Next question. This is from Ultra Magnus. How do the covers look for the Codex Narum? I guess he's not got his yet.
Let me go get it.
Yeah, I'll get the book, the adventure. That's what I want to see. I've seen that other cover for a damn 2 years now. I'm sick of it.
What are you talking about?
The Codex Narum and the adventure came with it, Visiting Death, that Jeremy wrote.
Oh, okay.
So this is the cover. It turned out absolutely spectacular.
Beautiful.
Peter Bradley outdid himself. And then this is Visiting Death.
Man, I cannot wait to get staff copies. I know they're already in the mail. Cannot wait.
Of course. Priority.
Why do you think I asked for my code this morning? Hey, kid, when I told you the other day that I need printer ink for my printer, I hit the print button on the abstract thing, thinking it was the 13-page intro outline to abstract.
Oh, no.
I walked out of the room as it was printing and thinking it would just be 13 pages. Came back in 30 minutes later. All the paper was gone. And the ink light is going off. And there's 1,000 pages sitting there. And I'm like,
it looks like Starship Warden.
So I just threw it all at the burn barrel. I'm just going to order it.
Oh, my God. Let's see. Question from DM John. Is the new CZ stuff visually going to look like the books and box set that were released in the olden days? Or will there be a different house style established for the line?
Whole new style. New art, new style, new covers, new layout.
And no box sets, I don't think.
No box set.
Yeah, it's all books. I don't think we'll.
Now, and I want to say about the books, I'm really excited about the way Kent and I go to the books because Kent's a bibliophile and I'm not really a bibliophile, but we read a lot and spend a lot of time in the library, and we both coalesced around the late 19th century, early 20th century, up until the 1960s, really, especially for academic tomes. When they needed maps in the back, they had folders for the maps. So we're going with the folders for the maps in the back, which will be, in my opinion, I love that idea.
It's a great idea. There's no downside to it at all.
No, there is no downside to it at all until you get into the dozens and dozens of maps. But I don't think any particular one would have dozens of maps.
It'll probably have 2 double-sided maps on each. Would be my guess.
I think if we do any more box sets in the future, it'll be for special things only. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
Yeah, we're
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, maybe who knows? But I mean, I know we're talking about doing the starter set and the box set, but that's
yeah.
the
You never
reason for
know,
that,
but
right? But you never know. Right?
yeah.
Let's see. George Fields asks, does Aaron have any mega dungeons? Is Offstray considered one?
Yes. I mean,
Definitely.
Abstract would be mega. Yeah.
Yes, for sure, George. It's mind-boggling. That's probably the only one we have in the aired setting, though, right? As far as what you've published.
Yeah, I don't really do dungeons a lot, so even conceptually, I can't think offhand of any. Wait, okay, so other places that you would have mega dungeons are the Dwarven Kingdoms. So
Yes.
there were 14 Dwarven Kingdoms, 13 that were actual mountains, and I think only 3 are still occupied. So there's 10 Dwarven Kingdoms that would be unbelievably huge. I mean, you're talking 12,000 years of tunneling, whatever. So
There is the wall.
that's true. The wall is too a mega dungeon.
Yeah. And
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of work on the wall and those
You
one
did.
shots. And
That's
that's
the wall
one
is
thing.
like 60 feet tall, right, and 40 feet wide, or something like that. So it's
Yeah,
a-
that would be like your average wall thing. But when I laid it out, it was like, because you have the guard towers, you have the section underneath each of the guard towers, the connections underground, running up into the mountains. Because I was going hog wild on it.
So if you remember, and you do, because you just said it, the wall it was built by the Khmer, and it was a straight line.
Yeah.
It's essentially a fortification. That's a city because it's tall, wide, and it's filled with people. Everything that you need to survive a siege is in the wall. It was meant to stop Unclar. It's a city that's a line. Did the Saudis take our idea from Erd?
They did.
Oh my
They
God!
did.
You're right. They did.
They did.
Thieves.
I'm suing. We're suing.
Yeah.
We're gonna sue Saudi.
George Field says he needs those empty Dwarven Kingdoms published by Christmas. Get on it.
Done.
Done. Okay, we got a couple more questions that we're going to have to cut out here, guys. Let's see. Let's see. Have we talked? Oh, this is from, let's see, Laura Callan here in Twitch. Have we talked about the rest of Gary's content currently in the hands of former Miss Gygax?
So nothing that Gary created is in Gail Gygax's hands anymore. It's all with the estate. All of his IP is controlled by the state of Wisconsin with estate managers, and that's who we deal with. So what the other IP, I will probably make another petition to the court in a couple 3 months, and would be looking for more stuff. But we got to talk to the family and stuff. We're trying not to do anything that. I mean, Gary's got children, so we don't do anything that upsets them or that they want to do or whatever. But we're trying to work as closely with the family as we can. But at the moment, I guess the state of Wisconsin. I don't really know how that side of the legal things work, but I guess the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're really trying to work with the entire Gygax family, as well as all the people who worked on Gygax stuff in the past. We want to bring. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, we're not hung up on anything. We just want to move forward and get Gary's stuff out there. That's the bottom line. We're not into this for a second.
Tulawit, if we could buy the Greyhawk IP, we would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Yeah, for sure. Last question, and then we're going to have to sneak on out of here. This is from Willie the Rat. Would Unclar run on a third-party ticket, and who would be his running mate? Somebody suggested the Green Wizard earlier. I will say that.
He would have to run on a third-party ticket because he wouldn't even believe that the other parties were of any consequence.
He would run on ticket 0.
Yes, that's it. Ticket 0. There you go. And who would his running mate? Man, it would have to be
Narhite.
probably Coburg the Undying. Do what? Narhite? No, he hates Narhite, but it'd be Coburg the Undying because he can completely and totally control Coburg because Coburg's just a coward.
I have a theory. It would really be Narhite looking like Coburg, and Unclar would that would make sense.
Narhite could do, yeah. Yes.
All right, we're going to get out of here. The last question we have, I will get this one out just real quick because it's Chris. Was that Gygax IP question about his ex-wife rather than his widow? I think he meant his.
No. Yeah, his widow, not his ex-wife. No.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but the first wife, she doesn't obviously own anything.
Right.
Gail got control of everything when Gary died as his current spot.
Ming the
Mouse
Merciless for VP. That's great. All right.
There you go.
With that said, we thank
Ring
everybody.
the merciless. All bad.
We're going to get out of here. And I want to thank everybody that came over on Facebook and YouTube and you guys on Twitch. It's been a great evening. Hey, Trevor, what's up, buddy? Good to see everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll be doing my design gaming stream in the morning for about an hour. I'll be on there bullshitting. And then we'll be back Thursday evening for our weekly troll roundup with the staff. And then we've got games this weekend on the channel. So keep coming by. We're going to have some more rewatches going on now that Grace has come aboard and is graciously helping us. She's going to be running some reruns for us on some stuff for some streams you guys might miss during the week. If you've not, haven't seen much of our stuff, there's our Twitch schedule. You can look there if you want to. I want to thank you guys so much again. We really appreciate all the time that you've taken to hear us spout all of our craziness, and we'll catch you at the next stream. All right. Thanks so
Take
much,
it easy, everybody.
Have a good evening.